gosh. I, I'm in full screen. I can't see anything. There we go. All right. I believe we are live.
Fantastic.
You're a little soft.
Sorry, Mom.
He's just soft spoken. So, welcome back to Niggun Seminar, everybody. It's so good to see your faces. Thanks for joining. It is my absolute pleasure today for our Niggun Seminar finale for the season. This is going to be our last one for now. It's my great pleasure to bring back to you our very first guest teacher, who I am now very pleased to be able to say is Rabbi Noam Lerman, recently ordained at Hebrew College. Mazal Tov. And Noam is going to share with us a Yiddish Techina. They've been doing a lot of work with Techinas over the years, and really looking forward to learning this with you. Thank you so much for being with us. So go ahead and share with us what you're going to teach us today, and then we'll dive in.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for having me back. It's so sweet. I didn't realize this was the last one, so it's like a nice bookend. Well, first of all, I'm curious, how many of you have ever heard of Yiddish Tchinas before? Just like raise your hand. Okay, there's like a few. Cool. So briefly, Yiddish Tchinas are known as Yiddish women's prayers. They came in Sidrim, or prayer books that looks kind of like this. This one was printed in 1914. And they were printed for women and for men who were like women. And so usually that referred to people, like anyone who just, if they weren't literate in Hebrew or Aramaic. So it referred to men who were poor working class who just didn't have access to yeshivot. And they would pray from these prayer books. But they were still directed, like they were often prayers in the first person, and they were from a woman's perspective. And a lot of them were written by women, and some of them we actually know who the authors were. And then also they were written by anonymous people, like Isha Tznuah. Usually it would say, this Tchina was written by a righteous anonymous woman. And sometimes the authors of those anonymous Tchinas were, as scholars say, they were men that had escaped from Orthodox families and had become enchanted by the Haskalah, but they would still write, they would author these prayers. And, today there's a lot more awareness about transgender and gender nonconforming people. And I really see Tchinas as being kind of a place where there's a lot of imagination that we can bring into who these authors were and who the people who prayed these prayers were. And a lot of times, Tchinas, so sometimes they were similar to the prayer book. They would have prayers literally translated from the Hebrew into the Yiddish. And then sometimes they were just prayers about different times of the year. There's a techina for each Rosh Chodesh of each month that specializes in that month, that says, this is the month that Moshe was born. And it just goes into various things and brings in prayers for that month. Then it also, a lot of techinas were connected to life cycle events. If someone was trying to become pregnant, if someone lost a family member, if there was war, there's a techina for a magefa, for when there's a pandemic. And if you Google Open Siddur Project, there's some friends and I actually recently translated the techina that's for a pandemic, because it's very relevant for this time that we're in. And so I'm really interested in techinas, and I'm also interested in putting music to them and bringing them back, because there's a lot of really beautiful teachings that you can find in them. So that's what we're going to do today. We will look at a techina that is said on the Yamim Tovim, that's said around Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And Jackson, if you can bring it up, we can look at the text together. Okay.
And
So,
if you open speaker view, you'll be able to see Noam's face while they're singing this tchina, and my face when I sing it back.
okay, cool. Thanks. So this is a tchina, as you see at the bottom. It's called the Techina Teshuva Tefillah and Tzedakah. And here it is in the book. I don't know if you all can see it. I thought it was particularly interesting because I've never seen a prayer like this before. I'll just read through the English. God, you don't shame a broken heart. You witness pain from the one who laments. And when the wailer calls out, you listen closely. So the Yiddish word for wailer is kloger. And klogerin, those were professional wailers that would, they were women that would go to the cemetery that would accompany a Levi, that would accompany a funeral. And they would cry and wail, and it would kind of allow other people who were present to also cry. It would kind of give people permission to feel the sorrow that they had for this loss. I think it's a really beautiful concept. And so the melody that I wrote to these prayers, to these words, I was hoping we kind of have that in them, that would kind of bring out the feeling of longing of a wailer. And I guess particularly right now, as we're in this present moment of uprising of people that are mourning and grieving a lot of death and racism and white supremacy, I just want to dedicate this song to the people that are in the streets right now that are really calling for renewal and for change and for justice, and to just feel with them a little bit. Thanks. So I'm just going to sing through the Yiddish, and I guess Shani, you will respond.
And just as a reminder to folks who might be new about how this works, so you're all on mute if you haven't noticed, and that's to limit feedback. But Noam's going to teach me this song line by line, and when I sing, you sing. So I'll be your learner's voice. And if you feel comfortable, it's always helpful for me and for Noam to be able to see your faces. If you feel able to turn on your screen, so that even though we can't hear anyone singing with us, we can see you singing with us, and it gives us a sense of not being a lone voice. All right, go for it, Noam.
Okay, Shani, how's your Yiddish?
It is one of my ancestral languages, and I only have a handful of words that were useful in my youth, like kepi and schluff.
Great. So you're gonna be fine.
Okay. I'm very excited to dive deeper.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So, and by the way, this song can also be a Niggun, but I will focus on the words for now. Zerbrochen Herz tust du nicht verschämen.
Can you break that out into two?
Yeah. Zerbrochen Herz tust du nicht verschämen.
Zerbrochen Herz. And then do the next part for me.
Tust du nicht verschämen.
Tust du nicht verschämen.
Great. And then, so this is said 4 times. So the second one is zerbrochen Herz.
Zerbrochen Herz.
Perfect. Tust du nicht verschämen.
Tust du nicht verschämen.
The third one. Zerbrochen Herz.
Hat zerbrochen Herz.
Tust du nicht verschämen.
Tust du nicht verschämen.
Perfect. The fourth one is zerbrochen Herz.
Hat zerbrochen Herz.
Tust du nicht verschämen.
Tust du nicht verschämen.
The next part. Du sähst die Pein.
Du sähst die Pein.
Von die was jammern.
Von die was jammern.
Du sähst die Pein.
Du sähst die Pein.
Von die was jammern.
Von die was jammern.
The last line. Und wenn der Klage ruft.
Und wenn der Klage ruft.
Tust du ihm der Herren.
Do that once more.
Tust du ihm der Herren.
Tust du ihm der Herren.
Yeah, it's the whole song.
All right. Can you sing the whole thing through for us once and then break it down by each line once more, and then we'll just sing it a bunch together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zerbrochen Herz, tust du nicht verschämen. 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 Du sähst die Pein von die was jammern. Du sähst die Pein von die was jammern. Und wenn der Klage ruft, tust du ihm der Herren.
Oh,
So now I should.
so beautiful. Yeah, so let's do once more around, just breaking down each line, just you sing the line and I'll sing it back, and then we're just going to sing it all together enough times that we all have it in our hearts.
Great. Now, do you want me to break down the 4 times half the way I did, or do the full?
Try the full and see if we can get it.
Okay. Zerbrochen Herz, tust du nicht verschämen.
All right, let's try that. Zerbrochen Herz, tust du nicht verschämen. You got that, folks? Awesome. All right, let's keep going.
Zerbrochen Herz, tust du nicht verschämen.
Zerbrochen Herz, tust du nicht verschämen.
Zerbrochen Herz, tust du nicht verschämen.
Hat zerbrochen Herz tust du nicht verschämen.
Hat zerbrochen Herz tust du nicht verschämen.
Do that one more time.
Hat zerbrochen Herz tust du nicht verschämen.
Hat zerbrochen Herz tust du nicht verschämen. It's a little different. Hat zerbrochen Herz. That?
It's hat zerbrochen Herz. Yeah.
Hat zerbrochen Herz tust du nicht verschämen.
Du sähst die Pein von die, was jammern.
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 There's one thing. Du sähst die Pein von die.
Du sähst die Pein
von die, was jammern.
von die, was jammern.
Und wenn der Klog, that was right. Und wenn der Klage ruft, tust du ihm der Herren.
Und wenn der Klage ruft, tust du ihm deren. I messed that one apart at the end a little.
Und wenn der Klage ruft, tust du ihm der Herren.
Und wenn der Klage ruft, tust du ihm deren.
That's it.
All right, folks, ready to just sing it enough times that we imbibe it in our bodies?
We could also do the Niggun.
Let's do a couple rounds with the words, and then, Noam, when you feel it's time, we'll move into the Niggun.
Okay.
And I'm going to mute. We're just going to sing with you.
Okay. Oh, just me singing?
You feel good about that?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. Hat zerbrochen Herz, tust du nicht verschämen. 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 Du sähst die Pein von die, was jammern. Du sähst die Pein von die, was jammern. Und wenn der Klage ruft, tust du ihm der Herren. Hat zerbrochen Herz, tust du nicht verschämen. 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 Du sägst die Pein von die, was jammern. Du sägst die Pein von die, was jammern. Und wenn der Klage ruft, tust du ihm der Herren. Didi da ya da 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 ya 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 na. Didi da ya 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 da di da da. Didi da ya 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 da 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 da. Ay, 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 iri, ay, 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 nanay, ay, 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 iri, ay, ay, iri, anay, anay, ay, 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 ay. At zerbrochen Herz tust du nicht verschämen. 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 Du sähst die Pein von die, was jammern. Du sähst die Pein von die, was jammern. Und wenn der Klage ruft, tust du ihm der Herren.
Thank you so much, Noam. That was stunning. So we have only a couple minutes left, and because this is the last session, we wanted to have an opportunity to just share some closing words with you, but also for you, particularly those of you who have been with us over multiple Niggun seminars, to share some closing thoughts with us on what this experience has been like for you. So in a moment, Jackson is going to take us off live so we can have a more intimate conversation. And for those joining us live, thank you so much for being with us and looking forward to singing with you on other occasions. And you can find all our recordings at jewishlive.org/Niggun seminar. This one and all of the other Niggun seminars are there for you to play over and over and over again until you have all these Niggunim in your heart. Jackson will just let us know when we're